Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Today, it's the Man Child. Alright, so today we're going to go over the Masters Universe Origins-Snake Armor Skeletor, which is part of the Masters Universe Origins Wave 12 assortment of figures. Here's the only one I found so far. I haven't seen the other ones yet. I think they were on Instagram, like showing up in Australia, not the US. And then one month it's Malaysia, and its distribution of stuff is nuts. But yeah, that's the one I got. Yeah, it looks pretty cool, you know, another variant of Skeletor. Now, if you're not familiar, Snake Armored Skeletor goes back to the 2000X line, as far as I know, and I actually had the figure, and I actually still have the armored accessories, so I can compare it with this Origins and see the difference, which is kind of fun, I guess, or interesting. And taking a look at the back of the package, here's some more of that awesome Origins art. So we have our Snake Armored He-Man here fighting now our Snake Armored Skeletor. Looks like we have King Hiss here. Cobra or maybe Camocon back here because of the fins raised up. We got a Rattler, now Tongue Lasher. So all these figures are officially out. Tongue Lasher's coming out now. I'm trying to find him anyway. And also, they also did announce and tease Squeeze and I think Snakeface to be, I think they're going to be both deluxe card figures coming out later this year in the spring. So that's pretty cool. And dropping down, so it just shows his action features of weapons as to fit the Fang Blade into hand. So he does come with the Fang Blade, twisting the powerful battle positions. So like, I don't know if he has a snap punch. We'll figure that out, or it just might be twisted the waist. We got a bio here in the Snake Man, which most of these cards are showing now. If you're not familiar with it is, you can pause and read that. And these are all 4 figures in the Wave 12. Here's a quick look around at Snake Armor Skeletor and all accessories he comes with. So before we go over our new Skeletor, of course, the Wave 12 comes in a new comic book, so we can check that out. It's a cover, pretty cool. And we have the new Sunman Hypno character. The new Roboto and Tongue Lasher. All right, let's turn the page, check it out. You can pause and read it. I'm not going to go through it all, but... oh, there's a Talon Fighter, too. The Talon Fighter was also teased and announced for Origins later this year coming out for your Castle Grayskull, so that's pretty cool. So you can see all the art on here. All right, pause and read it. Flip the page. Just the LR characters in Wave 12 and some of the newer Snake Men out fighting. See everything going on here. All right, check that out. It's the last page there. And taking a closer look at Snake Armored Skeletor. So, of course, we'll check out the head first. Yeah, really neat head sculpt. That Snake Armored helmet's cool. You know, the face. I love this face sculpt. Unique. Little extra attention here in the eyes. You can see that. Just, you know, painted black in there with the red glowing eyes inside the eyes. Yeah, even a little nose piece they painted in there. I love the teeth. Now, it's closed. Obviously, the mouth is closed. Doesn't articulate. As far as the articulation with this helmet, so we can go, like, let's see, left to right, and we go down about that far and back. Now it is hindered because of the Cobra-like hood that hits this armor. We'll take a closer look at this in a little bit. But so the thing with this helmet is it's not meant to come off. It is a separate part of the sculpt, but it seems like it's plugged in and glued on. So let's for a second pop the head off. Let's get into that right away. All right, so it's typical ball peg. Again, let's take a closer look at the head so see what I'm talking about. But you can see the hood is its own sculpt, and it looks like the face is part of the sculpt, or maybe its own sculpt but glued into the hood. It doesn't look like it's meant to come out without some major customizing or dremeling or something. But the snake hood, you can see it is plugged in here. So it is a separate sculpt and glued in. Same thing with the jaw pieces and everything. So you got 3 different sculpts, I want to say, right? The hood, this purple hood, and possibly the face. Oh, maybe this silver part too, looks like. So 4 things going on here, but they're not meant to come apart. It's its own head sculpt for this Snake Armored Skeletor. So putting the head back on and moving down to the buck in armored. So check out that snake armored. You know, that's really cool. I like the way that's done. Sculpted, all the scales on top. You know, the big green eyes there, the fangs. It's really soft and flexible, and you can see, so flipping them around, let's see. So there's 2 straps here. And again, there's the back detail I was mentioning earlier. Yeah, I love that. The scales, this spine piece in the back that hooks onto these straps. Really cool job. Now, to take the armor off, we'll take a closer look at that. So, as I said, we have 2 straps. So, we'll pop it here on this side. And then pop it here on the left side. Then we have to take the head back off. And then the whole armor is going to flip off like that. And taking a closer look at the armor off the buck. Yeah, we already went over the, like I said, the attention, the eyes, all that stuff. Straps, real soft and flexible, which is cool. So, it can fit onto the figures. And it's not a big deal to take on and off. All right, check it out there. It's the inside. So throwing the head back on real quick without the armor. Just a typical Origin Skeletor buck, it looks like to me. No different. So putting the armor back on again. So we already know all about the head articulation, the helmet. Went over the armored. As far as the articulation with the armored on, it's the point of it. Of course, we know we can twist at the waist. The arms are all the same, up, down, forward, back. Can bend at the elbow about that far. It does have 2 standard purple wrist gauntlets that are all part of the sculpt. As far as the hands, he comes with a semi-closed weapon gripping hand on the right side. Of course, it's in a hinge joint, can spin, go in and out. Left arm's all the same with everything, but this comes with an open hand and a hinge joint, can spin, go in and out, and that's designed more for the shield. Now, the tone of the skin on the Skeletor looks close enough to the other Skeletor figures that you can change this hand out with another semi-closed gripping hand if you wanted to, which a couple Skeletors came with that. So moving down, we said he twisted the waist, went over the hands. The loincloth is a typical 2000X style loincloth he comes with now, like the 2000X Origin Skeletor already came with. I will bring him in and compare it. This is how it comes off. I'll show you in a second. And finishing up the articulation so we don't go all the way out with the leg, forward, back, bend at the knee, spin at the knee and the boot. He has a 2000X style boots, but of course bare feet. Now these are all done in the purple like the other 2000X figure, but I think the gems were painted purple. Again, we'll bring it in and compare it. And yeah, and then the foot, of course, and go up and down and spin left to right. And the nails aren't painted on it, just blue to match the skin. And if you're not familiar, taking a close look at the belt. So we noticed 2 ways you could take it off. You could pop the strap. The easiest way for me is just break it at the waist, right? And there's a Skeletor with the belt off. So there's a close look at the belt. We haven't seen it before. Yeah, really nice sculpting, very soft, all done in purple. We know it breaks back here. Check that out. And here's a quick look at Skeletor without that belt. You just want to use the upper armored helmet and, standard belt and loincloth. He didn't like that, so you take a look at that. So take a look at Snake Armor Skeletor's accessories. He comes with this snake armored shield, I guess. Pretty cool sculptings. You got a skull here. You can see all the designs. There's a front and back. There's no other details on it, so you do get that. And then he also comes with what they call the fang blades. You can just see, here's the handle here. I think the idea of this is these 2 things are supposed to open and close, like a pair of giant scissors or something like that, or cutters, or you can also swing it, and I guess it's sharp up here. I never understood the concept, because the 2000X one's more detailed, which I'll bring and compare, but that's what he comes with. So let's set up our Snake Armored Skeletor with some weapons. So we'll put the fang blade and the closed gripping hand on the right side, and then a shield on the left side with the open hand, right? So we'll just go through the handle like this and snap this on the bracer. And here's a look at Snake Armored Skeletor, all armed up now with his shield and fang blade in hand. So check that out. And yeah, we know he doesn't snap punch at the waist. I wasn't sure, like maybe the Thunder Punch He-Man, just typical articulations we already seen in the review. But it's pretty much them all set up. So for those of you who might be curious, do a little weapon comparison. So this was the Snake Armored Fang Blade that came with the 2000X figure. So you can see how much more detailed it is and bigger. And same thing, it looked like these blades were meant to act as some type of cutters or scissors, but they didn't articulate. But a little better details. And of course, there's our Origin Skeletor one, so you can take a look at those together. And also, here's a quick comparison with that Snake Armored Shield, I want to call it. So this was the 2000X and our Origins. I mean, this one's really cool with the detail. So there's a front and back, and this had a single handle, which this actually broke off, and I had to glue it. And we know this one snaps onto the Origins, but what was neat with some of the 2000X, this one actually had an action feature. So check that out. You push the skull up, and you push this little diamond piece, and those blades retract and like cut as a weapon. That's awesome. And here's a quick comparison with the 2000X Snake Armor, which obviously I don't have the figure no more. And of course, the armor we already went over on the Origin Skeletor. Now they're totally different. Obviously, this is the straps to show you how it comes off the software. This one did have straps, but it actually snapped apart like that. And once again, if anybody's curious, taking the armor back off the Origin Skeletor, yeah, this armor wouldn't fit if you wanted to. And obviously, it's a whole different color. Yeah, it's sculpting's just, I think the Origins one just as good, if not better. But this wouldn't work. You can see it's like, and besides, it wouldn't match the head. And the 2000X had its own head, which I don't have the figure anymore. I think it broke. A lot of them broke in the waist. But you're curious about that, I just want to show that. It doesn't work. So once again, getting back to our Origin Snake Armored Skeletor with the armor back on, I'm curious if these 2000X weapons would work in hand, see what they look like. So I'm going to try to put this handle in this closed hand. So messing around with it, it doesn't really work because it's so wide. And, the Origins hands, I kind of wish when they sculpted them, the fingers would have been curved in a little more. Because a lot of the hands, they don't even hold their own weapons sometimes. They're really tricky depending on, how they're bent in or out. But it will not hold this blade. You kind of mess with it, but it'll keep falling out. It's not really going to work without some kind of modification or putting a wire or something around it. So I put his weapon back in hand. Now the question is, how can we use this shield? So, we have this open shield hand. I'm going to take this out. Right, if you're not familiar, we're not a peg pops apart. And I'm going to bring in the 2000X Skeletor hand, which I'll bring him and compare him soon. Because that's a closed gripping hand. The color matches the paint well, so we'll pop that in this side. And then bringing in the shield, it's the same problem. Like, I can get it to go in that hand. It can kind of hold it, but the fingers, yeah, they just keep popping open. It'll destroy. It's so heavy. All right, so something like that. It sort of holds it. You might have to secure it with a wire. It's very tricky, but I want to show that. So here's a quick side-by-side comparison with our Snake Armor Skeletor and our 2000X styled Origins Skeletor, which obviously they're both from the 2000X lore. Yeah, you can see, so like I was talking about, the loincloth looks the same. So does the boots, but this one had the painted gems up top. He has a typical Skeletor armor, but painted jewel in the middle and black shoulder pads there. And of course, now you can do part swapping and, you know, put this armor on this guy, that armor on that guy. We're not going to get into that, but I will change. Let's change out some heads on the Snake Armor Skeletor, but yet keep the Snake Armor itself on this body. So for a little mixing and matching parts, yeah, obviously I just kept the Snake Armor on the body, weapons in hand. I threw the 2000X style head on that Skeletor in the event you just wanted to change the head and leave the body armor on. You know, or you can mix it up. Here's a 2000X style Skeletor with the typical cross armor, and I just threw that helmeted head on if you just want to have that set up without the chest armor on. And I threw the Snake Armored head on the Battle Armored Skeletor for something different. So you want to just use that helmet with the purple Battle Armor, you could do something like that. And here's a quick look at the Battle Armored Skeletor's head, or one of the alternate heads that came on that figure on top of this Snake Armored Skeletor body with the armor on. So you could do something like that with a more traditional Skeletor head. Here's a quick look at the Terra Claws Skeletor open mouth head on this Snake Armor body with the armor on. That looks pretty cool. And here's a quick look at the Snake Armor Skeletor head on the Terra Claws Skeletor body. Do something like that too. And here's a little comparison with our Snake Armored Skeletor against our Snake Armored He-Man. Check those two out together. Looks pretty cool. So having another Skeletor variant in Origins line. Of course, we got to throw him on a couple Motu cats that he might work on. So I have the actual 2000X Flock Panther that he sits on top. It looks great, fits great. And I actually keep my 2000X Origins Skeletor now in this Panther. It's like they really work out well together. And here's a quick look at our Snake Armor Skeletor on our Origins Flock Panther. Always cool. And yeah, these cats came out awesome too. I love the size of them, but it looks great on it. Check that out. So overall, I think this new Snake Armor Skeletor is pretty cool. You know, to have in the Origins line. I mean, so now we have a Snake Armored Skeletor to go along with our Snake Armored He-Man. It is another Skeletor variant. A lot of people like that. A lot of people don't. I mean, for me, I'm a sucker for that because it goes back to the vintage days or classics. And now, if anything, they're starting to go outside the realm of the vintage, like more into the 2000X stuff. Again, which a lot of people like and some people don't. I think a lot of us want Mattel to finish up the core characters that grew up with the vintage line. We're still missing like Cyclone and Too Bad and Spikor and all those guys. At least 20 plus characters, Modulok, things like that they haven't done yet. Now, Spikor, characters like Mossman was teased and announced in the Snake Man, and I told about earlier, coming in deluxe card. So they are coming. A little out of time, but this was an easy repaint option for Mattel to get some more figures out there, make some more money. So he is already sharing not only the Skeletor buck, but the parts with the 2000X Skeletor, like I showed. But we are getting some new weapons and, you know, the chest armor, the head armor, which is cool. You can mix with other figures. So I don't mind it. He fits cool on the cats, and it's just another variant, you know, so it depends on your take on that. Otherwise, it's fun to see this stuff in a line, and I'm up for more Origins, whether it's some more He-Man Skeletor variants or hopefully the newer characters. I appreciate you guys watching, and until next time, take care.